So just here at the Buy Nothing Day Festival, and there's an army of volunteers, as you can see, busily prepping a 3-course meal, which is going to be served later on. So it's great to be a part of this. Most of the food that I get is from the back of supermarkets. About 90% of all the food I eat, gets found.
I'm just amazed that all this food goes to waste.
Do I live to work or do I work to live? And do I give to earn or do I earn to give? And if I do my best for society, will they care about money or will they care about me?
I think this is wonderful. It's really nice to all be under the same roof. I'm a language teacher, so I brought loads of sort of French books and dictionaries and textbooks and stuff like that I don't need. And I found chocolate spread, so I exchanged it linguistic for chocolate spread. There you go.
My first experience arriving and finding that everything's free. I think it feels nice to yourself to have donated something that you don't need anymore and then take something that you actually need. No, this is a new experience for me, but I would happily, as long as it's still healthy, it's not going to make me ill, I have no qualms about eating food that's out of date. It was much nicer than going into a shop and exchanging money.
Hello! Can I have everyone's attention for 40 seconds maybe? I know there's a wonderful clothes swap going on.
What we're doing is we're doing a clothes swap. So basically any clothes that you like them, they're good clothes but you just haven't worn them for a while. You bring them along, trade them in, like this nice jazzy waistcoat.
Yeah.
And then see if you can find anything that you like.
I think it's a fantastic way of kind of making an active decision to kind of not involve money in things. You don't need money if people are prepared to share and swap. A whole new word, swap.
Swapping.
Sounds slightly Dutch. Swap. Yeah, good. We're swapping today.
Swapping.
Yes, it's like shopping, not quite. It's just a really fun day. It's so nice to see so many kids. It's nice to see so many people just really enjoying themselves, and also the slight bewilderment on people's faces when they're like, so I can just take this. It's like, well, yeah, it didn't cost us anything, so just take it away.
People are surprised that everything is free, but it's just proof that it can exist and it can happen.
Money's a pain in the neck. It's useless. It's like controls people, turns people into, I don't know, things that they don't want to be.
Just doing whatever is thrown at me really. I was helping with some furniture being brought in, just chopping some potatoes now, and clearing up later on, and anything that needs doing, I'm up for doing it.
I think I'm powering up the music system. Not sure how.
Certainly, I think like people's generosity of spirit is always there. Just needs to be given the space to sort of freely flow.
Ooh, this shining eyes still see. Ooh, the docile dreamers roam. Ooh, have it all, but the best from me. We got home, we got barracks and drums and a rich. Our voices on your throne. I got empathy, you got apathy, I got bone. Thank you, that was fun.
Yeah, it has been a bit overwhelming, to be honest. I felt a bit emotional earlier, just like everybody giving their time for free. These guys work their arse off all day. Like, I haven't seen people get paid a lot of money work this hard, non-stop, relentlessly. There's been a couple of thousand people through the doors here today at some point, and just experiencing living without money for one day.
I do think that is a significant point.
Which point?
Well, the fact that what happened there was just for one day. I mean, people had a lot of fun. We all did. But as we've seen from the other footage, it's going to take a lot more dedication than that. I think Mark Boyle definitely could see that, but I'm not so sure that the others did. It's not just going to be about giving up the things we don't need. We may one day actually be forced to lay down our lives for one another.
Yeah, I interviewed someone at that festival who was talking quite seriously about living without money. But it seemed like even in that setting, she seemed sort of somewhat cautious about what she was saying.
I'm nervous about talking about it to people because even the hippiest of hippies get like their prickles come up when you start talking about doing the job that you want to do and not having to enslave yourself for your money, because no one wants to have to do it, so everybody hates it. So when someone comes along and says you don't need to do this, you know, everyone gets like, but I do, I have to. And that tension, I think it all hangs on that tension in some ways. I mean, it compromises you're never giving totally and you're never receiving totally when you're using money, because you're always aware of the back current of the exchange. But when you don't use money, if you just are giving something and you're not thinking about what you're going to get back, it's a full-hearted give. If you have to acknowledge to yourself your vulnerability, and you cannot pretend that you're not vulnerable, when you've got money, it masks over your natural insecurities, the needs that everybody has. We all pretend that we don't all share like these basic needs, and we can get away with that with money. But when there's no money, you're much more aware of how dependent on each other you are, and you're much more open in your vulnerability, which is a much more heart-centered, it's much braver, much more heart-centered way to live. Well, it's almost like a spirituality. There's that guy in the States, it is a spirituality for. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually got an interview with Swello where he lives at his cave in Utah.
He's the guy who's been living without money for 10 years, right?
Yeah, 10 years, yeah, that's right.
Dang.
This is like my home base here. Like I have a cave here. And I usually stay here in the winter time. The cave's small, so I can keep it warm in the winter pretty easily. But I also have a camp in town, and that I move around now and then. It's very temporary. Well, everything is. And often in warmer months, I travel around the country, just live wherever randomness takes me. I remember thinking, going through periods where I thought that, or I wondered why we didn't practice the teachings of Jesus. It's like he was more of an icon to be worshipped than to be followed in practice. We divide the world up among different religions and philosophies, but to me there's only two. And it doesn't matter whether you call it Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, whatever. Basically they all boil down to love or money, God and mammon. The Buddha said there are two paths, one leads to wealth, one leads to nirvana. And Jesus said one leads to mammon and one leads to God. So those are the only two religions in the world. One's spiritual and one's materialism. Oh, there are no grounds under which I would allow myself to be microchipped.
Yeah, we interviewed a lot of people about issues relating to this. There was that guy, Andy Hamilton, in Bristol, who's a co-author of the Self-Sufficient-ish Bible. Fergus Drennan, who's a sort of famous wild forager. Greg Nicoletis, who's the founder of the We the People Will Not Be Chipped movement, who works closely with Catherine Albrecht. It's quite a few people.
I think that Swello and Mark Boyle represent the two strongest proponents of this message, though. Because I think they have their act together and they're more than just talk.
So, and what about us? Are we going to include something about us in this documentary as well?
Well, we are in the documentary right now. See that camera over there?
So how do we include what we're doing in the film?
Well, the cameras are rolling. Why don't we just talk into the cameras?
Okay, here goes. So we don't normally live in houses like this.
We don't live without money entirely, but we do live without working for money.
And as a group, some of us have been living like this for more than 20 years.
Right, we're freegans, which means we get most of our food from the back of supermarket dumpsters.
We live and travel in vehicles that run on waste vegetable oil.
Yeah, and we use solar panels to get our electricity from.
But really, we're preparing for a time where we won't be having vehicles at all and we'll be living pretty much like Swello.
We have contacts in India, Kenya, Australia, America, and here in the UK as well. And next year we hope to have a base in Argentina.
Yeah, that makes us sound huge, when in reality we're just a couple of dozen people at the moment. But we're training. We're learning how to survive just through faith in God, and we're preparing for a time when people of conscience in the world everywhere are going to have to survive without buying and selling. Some of us will die in the process, but there is a great need for us to be preparing right now.
A big part of that preparation is getting the message out to others, like we're doing with this film.
But we need to be clear that it's not all about us either. It's about people finding a faith that's bigger than money, and then linking up with others who have a similar kind of vision.
There are dark times ahead, but God wants to prepare us for it by teaching us to take the message of Jesus seriously right now, before the axe falls.
It is necessary that you take this disc out that's out in the street, make a copy, make 100 copies. It's for everyone.
Don't take the mark of the beast. Don't take the mark of the beast. Don't take the mark of the beast. Don't take the mark of the beast.
It's a conspiracy, that's why they're feeding us TV, CDs, video games and DVDs, so we'll believe these to be giving us verity. Welcome to the edge of subliminal tyranny. They're giving you liberty to be who you wanna be, as long as you constantly slave to the economy. It's corporate thuggery, soon they'll be giving you microchip technology. If you wanna be free, then please leave this scene. Flee your ID from the beast PC. These prophecies will release the remedy, but if you practice them, you will be caught a radical enemy. Keep your energy clean and redeem peace free. We believe the greed breeds mean deeds. We sow the seeds to achieve a real peace, but we will never take the mark of the beast.
Don't take the mark of the beast. Don't take the mark of the beast.
In times as dark as these, please don't take the mark of the beast.
Don't take the mark of the beast. Don't take the mark of the beast.
In times as dark as these, please don't take the mark of the beast.
What is going on? We got a choice in store that'll count for oh so long. One chance to make it right. One path that leads to life. One path that leads to fire. Yeah. Will you stand up for truth or sell your soul for high?
What tricks this? That the barcode is 3/6 that's fixing it. 3 parallel lines with a 6 in it. Time to open up your eyes, get the scriptures in. The church is paralyzed, so they're missing it. When money's out of lies and no Christians in. They claim to follow Christ, but they're dissing him. They're so busy shouting praise, they ain't listening. I know the picture's grim, it's gonna get worse, but first it's a curse. It's coming upon the face of the earth. The human race will give birth to the worst person, and nerds may even lurk in the church. Is that how it works? To try to insert